Hello and welcome back to Vault Holocron, where today I am going to cover the Ithorians. Ithorians are a sentient species from the planet Ithor. They were also called hammerheads and leathernecks as insults. Ithorians could have brown, green, light brown, or orange skin, could have black, blue, brown, orange, or yellow eyes, had 2 mouths, 1 on each side of the neck, 4 throats, and 2 stomachs. Having 4 throats meant that Ithorians could not speak Galactic Basic and had deep, rumbly voices. Ithorians spoke Ithorese and could use a translator collar to communicate. Ithorians had a long lifespan. The planet Ithor was a mid-rim planet in the Ottegan system. It was covered in the Mother Jungle, which was considered sacred, and so no one was allowed to step foot in it. Ithorians were generally a peaceful species that respected nature. They would exile violent individuals from Ithor to maintain the peace. Ithorians handcrafted spiritual items. Hand-carved Ithorian totems were placed on graves and had spiritual meanings. Ithorians also made weather chimes, which were used to pray for good weather and for fertile soil. Ithorians were genetically related to the Ottegan species, with Ottegans being a genetic offshoot of the Ithorians. Ottegans could have brown skin, could have black eyes, had 1 mouth and a similar appearance to Ithorians. Ithorians often referred to Ottegans as Hrumgartha, meaning lone mouth, and would joke that Ottegans had to talk twice as much to be heard due to only having 1 mouth. Now I am going to explain a select few Ithorians and Ottegans. I am only covering a select few because there are so many. First up is Dok-Ondar, a male Ithorian that was a collector. He ran the shop Dok-Ondar's Den of Antiques in Blackspire Outpost on Batu. Dok-Ondar's family were gardeners, and his love of collecting started from finding bones, unusual rocks, and other items in the garden. With the support from his parents, he learned trading and business skills, allowing him to make collecting a career. His parents were murdered under strange circumstances due to finding archaeological Jedi and Sith secrets. Dok-Ondar bought Ki-Adi-Mundi's lightsaber along with a Dianoga puppy at Jabba's palace. Dok-Ondar hired and worked with Hondo Ohnaka to get a statue from the Temple of Kyber. Inside the temple, they met the Guardians of the Wheels, a religious order. The Guardians of the Wheels were not very happy with the pair of them breaking in, and they fought them. Dok-Ondar used Ki-Adi-Mundi's lightsaber to get the statue. On their way out, they bumped into Chirrut Imwe, who initially fought them, but eventually let them go after hearing that Dok-Ondar wanted it because the last time he had seen a statue like it was in the box he got after his parents had died. At one point in time, Dok-Ondar hired Han Solo to collect baby Sarlaccs, and Han Solo returned with 1. Later down the line, Dok-Ondar hired Muscle and travelled to Moraband with Dr. Aphra in order to get the sword of Kashyyyk, a Sith artifact from a Sith temple. There, Aphra and most of his muscle went to retrieve the sword. While they did, 000 tried to kill Dok-Ondar, but was stopped by one of his muscle. When Aphra returned, Dok-Ondar and Aphra got into a fight, with his muscle dying. He split the sword in half, shooting at Aphra, and left with half of the sword. Next is Mok Shaiz, a male Ithorian that was the mayor of Mos Espa on Tatooine. After the death of Jabba the Hutt, Bib Fortuna took his place. Fortuna did not have as much power as Jabba, and so Mos Espa became divided between 3 families: the Trandoshans, the Aqualish, and the Klatooinians. Fortuna paid Shaiz to maintain an alliance. Shays made an agreement with the Pikes to hand over part of Mos Espa to them. Boba Fett took control of this land when he overthrew Fortuna. When Fett was getting tributes, Shays sent his majordomo. Shays requested that Fett pay him, which created a rivalry between Shays and Fett. Shays sent out assassins of the Order of the Night Wind to kill Fett, but his attempt failed. Boba Fett confronted Shays, but Shays did not admit that he had ordered the assassination, and instead thanked Fett for disposing of the assassin, and paid Fett. After Boba Fett and the twins, cousins of Jabba, fought over the land, the twins told Boba that the land had been promised to the Pikes. Shays hid with the Pikes on Tatooine. Shays told the Pikes that he was unhappy with the level of destruction. Eventually, Boba Fett and Fennec Shand arrived at the hideout and killed the Pikes and Shays. Now for Roran Korob, a male Ithorian Jedi Master. He and Shaak Ti helped protect Palpatine from Grievous and his forces during the Battle of Coruscant. However, despite both of their efforts, they failed, and Korob was killed. Next up is Biff, a male Ithorian Jedi youngling. He was sent with a group of other younglings to Ilum so that he could get a Kyber crystal. He overcame his fear and got the crystal. Biff and the other younglings went on the Crucible with Ahsoka afterwards, so that they could be taught by the architect droid Huyang on how to construct their lightsabers. However, the ship was attacked by Hondo Ohnaka and his pirates. They fended off the pirates for a while, but Ahsoka was taken. They first contacted Obi-Wan Kenobi, but he was unable to help. Biff and the other younglings then took the matter into their own hands and disguised themselves by joining Prago's circus. They used this disguise to try and distract the pirates and save Ahsoka, but failed. However, the Separatists then attacked, and so the Jedi and pirates had to work together. Both the pirates and the Jedi escaped, and the Republic let the pirates go free. Next is Momor Nadon, a male Ithorian. Also known as Hammerhead, he was exiled from Ithor after revealing agricultural secrets to the Empire to save Ithor. He stayed on Tatooine, where he looked after a small garden in the mountains south of Mos Eisley Spaceport. He would hide rebels in his garden. When Luke entered Chalmun's Spaceport Cantina looking for a pilot, Nadon was present. Now for Mikkel Sutmany, a male Ithorian, which was a Jedi Knight during the High Republic era. He was one of the Jedi that had to deal with the fallout of the Great Hyperspace Disaster, a disaster in which the Legacy Run crashed into a Nihil stormship, causing debris to be flung out of hyperspace across the galaxy. Sutmany was part of a team which saved the Hetzel system from debris. He was also part of a group which were on a mission to retrieve the flight recorder of the Legacy Run. This ended up with a skirmish fighting against the Nihil, where Jedi Knight Tiami took a missile for Sutmany, saving his life. He was at the Velo Fair in his Vector starfighter when the Nihil attacked. He saved many civilians. However, a Nihil attacked his ship, causing him to crash. Next up is Bolduga and Onka, Ithorian brothers that were bounty hunters. Bolduga used quick-draw blasters, and Onka used long-range weapons. The pair were sought out by Count Dooku for a plot to kidnap Palpatine. However, Cad Bane killed Bolduga before he could even prove himself. Onka then had to face the box, in which there were challenges set out for the bounty hunters. Onka died in the second room. Next is Bolo, a male Ithorian, who frequented Sid's parlour along with friend Ketch. The pair often played Dejarik there. When the parlour was taken by Roland Durand, Bolo and Ketch helped Sid get it back by using Mantel Mix to lure Durand's pet, Ruby, away. Distracting Durand, Now for Ola Hest, a female Ottegan, who was a criminal during the High Republic era. She was an enforcer for the Hutts for 30 years. One time she went to collect protection money from a children's med centre on Novor. However, the people running the med centre refused to pay. Hest put her frigate thrusters onto the building, causing everyone inside to die. She was eventually captured by Jedi Master Porter Engel and imprisoned on the Restitution. She gained power in the Restitution and had a network of assassins, bounty hunters and bodyguards. At one point, a Nihil Tempest runner called Lorna D was imprisoned. Hest tried to deliver D to her rivals, but was killed by former Nihil Tempest runner Pan-Ita, who attacked the Restitution. Next up is Praster Omlin, a male Ottegan who was a gun runner before turning away from crime and joining the Sacred Order of Ramulus, a religious sect amongst Ithorians on Ithor. Roughly 30 years after the Battle of Endor, Omlin would spend his time in Maz's castle, giving spiritual advice to criminals. He was present when Han, Rey, Finn and BB-8 entered to see Maz. He also watched the destruction of the Hosnian system. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and bye.